Have you ever looked in the mirror and asked yourself, is it too late for me? Maybe you've dreamed of starting a business, going back to school, writing that book, or even just reinventing yourself. But fear whispered, you missed your chance. Well, I'm here to tell you today with absolute certainty that it's never too late. Your dreams don't have an expiration date. Your potential doesn't come with a deadline. Whether you're 25, 45, or 85, the moment you decide to begin is the moment your life shifts. So let's talk about why right now is your time. Every great comeback starts with a decision. One bold, unwavering choice to step into the life you've always imagined. Think about it. What separates those who live their dreams from those who only ever talk about them? It's not luck, it's not timing, and it's certainly not some predetermined destiny. It's the moment they finally say, enough. Today I begin. Let me ask you something. How many times have you told yourself, I'll start tomorrow? How many ideas have you tucked away because you were waiting for the right moment? Here's the truth. The right moment doesn't exist. There will never be a perfect time, a perfect amount of money, or a perfect set of circumstances. The magic happens when you decide that now is good enough. Take a second and think about the people who inspire you, the ones who made it against all odds. Maybe it's the single mother who went back to school in her 40s and built a career she loves. Maybe it's the artist who didn't pick up a paintbrush until retirement and then created masterpieces. Or the entrepreneur who failed 3 times before launching the business that changed everything. What did they all have in common? They didn't wait for permission. They didn't wait for confidence to magically appear. They simply decided, truly decided, that they were going to try. And here's the beautiful thing about decisions. They cut through fear like nothing else. Fear thrives in hesitation. It grows in the space between I want to and I will. But the moment you make a firm choice, when you declare, this is happening, fear loses its power. It doesn't disappear, but it no longer controls you, because now you're in motion. Now you're committed. I want you to think about something you've been putting off. Maybe it's applying for that job, ending a toxic relationship, or finally pursuing that side hustle. What's holding you back? Be honest with yourself. Is it really about time, money, or circumstances? Or is it because making that decision means stepping into the unknown, and the unknown is terrifying? Let me tell you a secret. The unknown is where miracles happen. It's where you discover strength you didn't know you had. It's where life begins to shift in ways you couldn't have predicted, but you'll never know unless you decide to step into it. So how do you make that decision real? First, you say it out loud. Tell someone, anyone, I'm doing this. That makes it real. Then you take the smallest possible action. Not the giant leap, just the first step. Send the email, make the call, write the first sentence. Because momentum is everything. Once you start, the next step becomes easier, and the one after that even easier. And if you're sitting there thinking, but what if I fail? Let me ask you this, what if you don't? What if this decision is the one that changes everything? What if a year from now you look back and realize this was the moment your life turned around? The truth is, every person who ever achieved something extraordinary first had to make a simple, ordinary decision to begin. Not when they were ready, not when they had it all figured out, but right in the middle of their fear, their doubt, their uncertainty. That's where courage lives. So here's my question for you. What's the one decision you've been avoiding? The one that scares you, excites you, keeps you up at night? That's your starting line. That's your moment. Because here's what I know for sure. You don't need more time. You don't need more certainty. You just need to decide. And when you do, everything changes. Let me tell you something about failure that might surprise you. It's not your enemy. It's not the opposite of success. In fact, failure is success in disguise if you have the courage to see it that way. Think about the last time you failed at something. Maybe it was a job you didn't get, a business that didn't take off, or a relationship that fell apart. How did it make you feel? Defeated? Embarrassed? Like you weren't good enough? Here's the truth. That feeling isn't the end of your story. It's the beginning of your growth. Because failure isn't here to break you. It's here to build you. Let's get real for a moment. Some of the most successful people in history were also some of the biggest failures. Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination. Oprah was told she wasn't fit for television. Steve Jobs was pushed out of his own company. But here's what they understood, that most people don't. Failure is just feedback. It's life's way of saying, try a different approach. Because we've been taught to see it as a reflection of our worth. From the time we're children, we're conditioned to believe that mistakes are bad. We get grades, we get judged, we get compared, and somewhere along the way we internalize this idea that if we fail, we are failures. But that's a lie. You are not your mistakes. You are not your setbacks. You are the person who gets back up every single time. Here's what failure really is: your greatest teacher. Every closed door forces you to find a better one. Every mistake gives you wisdom you couldn't have gotten any other way. Think about learning to walk. Did you give up the first time you fell? Of course not. You got back up, wobbled a little, and tried again. Somewhere along the way, we forget that resilience. We start believing that if we don't get it right immediately, we should quit. But that's exactly when we should keep going. Let me ask you something. What would you attempt if you knew you couldn't fail? Now, here's the real question. Why aren't you attempting it anyway? Because the fear of failure is often worse than failure itself. The what-ifs and maybes torture us far more than any actual outcome ever could. The truth is, you've already survived 100% of your worst days. You're still here, you're still standing, and that means you're stronger than you think. Here's the secret successful people know. They don't avoid failure, they reframe it. They don't ask, why did this happen to me? They ask, what is this trying to teach me? Because every setback contains a lesson if you're willing to look for it. Maybe that rejection was protecting you from something worse. Maybe that closed door was redirecting you to something better. Maybe that mistake was showing you a weakness you needed to strengthen. Now, I'm not saying failure feels good in the moment. It doesn't. It stings. It humbles you. It makes you question everything. But here's what I am saying. You have a choice in how you respond. You can let it defeat you, or you can let it develop you. You can see it as proof that you shouldn't try again, or as preparation for when you do. Think about Thomas Edison. He failed over 1,000 times before inventing the light bulb. When asked about it, he said, I didn't fail 10 times. The light bulb was an invention with 10 steps. That's the mindset shift that changes everything. Your failures aren't proof that you can't succeed. They're proof that you're getting closer. So the next time you fail, and you will, because everyone does, I want you to do 3 things. First, feel it. Don't numb it or pretend it doesn't hurt. Sit with the disappointment, then let it go. Second, learn from it. Ask yourself what worked, what didn't, what would I do differently. Third, and most importantly, try again. Because the only real failure is giving up. Here's what I know for sure. Your greatest breakthroughs are waiting on the other side of your failures. That dream you're chasing, it's still there. That purpose you feel deep inside, it's still calling you. The only question is, will you let failure stop you, or will you let it strengthen you. The world needs what you have to offer. It needs your ideas, your passion, your unique gifts. And if you give up now, we all lose. So get back up, try again, fail better, because every great success story is really just a series of failures that someone refused to let define them. Your time is now, your moment is here. And failure, it's just part of your journey, not the end of it. Let me tell you something powerful about your story. It's not over. In fact, if you feel like you've been through struggles, if you've faced setbacks, if you've had moments where you thought, maybe this just isn't for me, then I've got news for you. Your most exciting chapters are just beginning. Think about every great story you've ever loved in books, in movies, in history. The most compelling parts never come at the beginning when everything's easy. No, the magic happens after the struggle, after the failure, after the moment when the hero could have given up but chose to keep going. That's where real transformation happens. That's where ordinary people become extraordinary. And right now, whether you realize it or not, you're standing at that exact turning point in your own story. So many people get stuck believing their past defines their future. They look at their mistakes, their detours, their lost time, and they think it's too late to change direction. But here's what I want you to understand. Everything you've been through wasn't preparing you for failure, it was preparing you for this moment. Those disappointments, they taught you resilience. Those wrong turns, they gave you wisdom. Those challenges, they made you stronger than you realize. I want you to try something right now. Think back to a time when you faced something difficult. Maybe it was a job loss, a broken relationship, a dream that didn't work out. At the time, it probably felt like the end of the world. But now, looking back, can you see how it shaped you? Can you recognize the strength you gained from getting through it? That's the power of your story. It's not about what happened to you, it's about who you became because of it. Now, let's talk about doubts, because I know they creep in. What if I'm too old? What if I don't have what it takes? What if people laugh at me? Here's the truth about doubts. They don't mean you're not capable. They mean you care. The only people who never doubt themselves are the ones who aren't challenging themselves to grow. Your doubts aren't roadblocks, they're signposts that you're stepping into something meaningful, something that matters to you. And about age, let's settle this once and for all. Your dreams don't come with an expiration date. The only time it's truly too late is when you decide it is. I've seen people start medical school in their 50s. I've watched artists pick up a paintbrush for the first time in retirement and create masterpieces. I've witnessed entrepreneurs launch successful businesses after multiple failures. Time is going to pass anyway. Wouldn't you rather be a year from now looking back at what you dared to try than wondering what if? Here's what I know for certain. The world needs stories like yours, not despite the struggles, but because of them. Someone out there needs to see you get back up. Someone needs to witness your courage to start again. Your story isn't just about you, it's about the people who will find hope in your journey. When you keep going, you give others permission to do the same. So today, I want you to make a choice. You can look at everything you've been through and see reasons to quit, or you can see all the reasons you're ready. You can focus on what didn't work before, or you can use those lessons to build something better. Your past doesn't have to be a prison. It can be the foundation for what comes next. This is your moment to decide, will you let your history limit you, or will you let it launch you? Because the best stories always have turning points, moments, when everything changes because the hero makes a choice. And right now, you're standing at yours. Your next chapter starts. Today, Not when everything is perfect, not when all the doubts disappear. Today, with all your messy, beautiful history behind you and all your incredible potential ahead of you, this isn't the end of your story, my friend. From where I'm standing, it looks like the best part is just getting started. Let me tell you something that might just change everything for you. The world is waiting for what only you can bring, not some polished, perfect version of you, not you after you've got it all figured out. You, exactly as you are right now, with all your unique experiences, your hard-won wisdom, and that special spark that no one else possesses. Think about this for a moment. There's never been anyone exactly like you in all of human history, and there never will be again. That thing that comes so naturally to you that you don't even think it's special, that perspective you've gained through your particular journey, that idea that keeps tugging at your heart, that's not random, that's your assignment. The world needs exactly what you have to offer in the way that only you can offer it. I want you to imagine a child 20 years from now holding a book that hasn't been written yet. It's your book. Picture someone finding hope from words that are still inside you. Imagine a family being fed because of a business idea you haven't launched. Visualize lives being changed because of a song you haven't recorded, a painting you haven't created, a solution you haven't shared. When you hold back, when you let fear talk you out of starting, you're not just cheating yourself, you're robbing the world of something only you can give. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but there are already so many people doing this better than I could. Let me stop you right there. We don't need another copy, we need your authentic voice. The most inspiring people aren't those who are perfect at what they do, they're the ones who are perfectly themselves while they do it. Your quirks, your struggles, your particular way of seeing the world, that's not something to hide. It's your superpower. Consider this. Every great invention, every beautiful piece of art, every movement that changed the world began as an idea in someone's mind that they dared to bring to life. What if the Wright brothers had decided flight was someone else's problem? What if Marie Curie had thought was for more educated people? What if your grandmother had believed her story wasn't worth telling? The most dangerous lie we tell ourselves is, it doesn't matter if I don't do this. Here's what I know about your gift. It's not about size or scale, it's about obedience. That little nudge you feel to start a community garden matters as much as the impulse to build a Fortune 500 company. The quiet kindness you show your neighbor is as powerful as a viral movement. Don't measure your impact by numbers. Measure it by faithfulness to what you're being called to do. And let's talk about timing, because I know that's where many of you get stuck. You think you need to wait until the kids are grown, until you have more money, until you feel ready. But here's the truth. There will never be a perfect time, and you will never feel completely ready. The magic happens when you start before you're ready, when you begin with what you have, where you are. That's how ordinary people create extraordinary change. They don't wait for permission. I need you to understand something crucial. Your playing small doesn't serve the world. When you dim your light, when you silence your voice, when you ignore those ideas that keep you up at night, you're not being humble, you're being disobedient to your purpose. The world has enough people playing it safe. What we need is more people brave enough to be exactly who they were created to be. So today, I'm asking you to make a shift from thinking, who am I to do this, to who am I not to? From maybe someday to why not today, from it's probably nothing to what if it's something. That idea that won't leave you alone, that's not random, that's your calling. That anger you feel about an injustice, that's not just frustration, that's your assignment. That skill people are always complimenting you on, That's not small, that's your contribution. The beautiful, terrifying truth is this: there are people whose lives will be different because of you. Not because you're perfect, but because you showed up. Not because you had all the answers, but because you dared to ask the questions. Not because you waited until you were ready, but because you started while you were afraid. This is your moment, not tomorrow, not when everything lines up perfectly. Right now, the world doesn't need another imitation, it needs the original that is you. So take that step, share that idea, start that project. The world has been waiting for exactly what you have to offer. Don't make it wait any longer. So here's my challenge to you. Today, take one step, just one. Sign up for that class, write the first page, make the call. Because in a year from now, you'll look back and realize this was the moment everything changed. It's not too late. It's not over. Your time is now. Stand up, believe it, and go make it happen. Thank you.